What's up guys, I just received my Nexus 4 wireless charger a few days ago and I wanted to do a comparison video between my Nexus 4 charger and this Qi wireless charger that I actually got for free during CES, which was actually pretty neat. If you didn't see that video, I will leave that link down below. And I want to talk to you guys about the different experiences I had with both of these chargers. Granted, I've used this for about a month and I've only used this for about 3 days, and I can already tell you that there are a few pros and cons between both of them. So I just want to do this video in case you guys are looking to buy one of these. There's other manufacturers out there like Energizer and many others, so maybe this video will help you decide which wireless charger is best for you. So let's get started. Now, I know this is the official Nexus 4 charger, so those of you that own a Nexus 4 device are probably going to lean towards this one to buy one. However, I can tell you that I actually prefer this guy, and I'll explain to you why in a bit. Now, the biggest difference between both of these wireless chargers is their shape. The Qi charger I got from CES is flat, where my Nexus 4 charger is more of a ball shape, sort of cut in a 45-degree angle, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Depending on the style, they both look very modern and sleek. The Nexus 4 actually looks really cool. I like the design. It kind of reminds me of the Nexus Q, but cut in a 45-degree angle. And the benefits of the Nexus 4's charger is that it props the phone up in a 45-degree angle. So depending on what you prefer and what you're looking for, this could be a deal breaker. Now, for some, they may prefer laying the phone flat on a surface, which in my case, I actually prefer that method, and I'll talk about that in a little bit later. Another thing to consider, given that both of these have different shapes, is their portability. Depending if you do a lot of travel, the Nexus 4, although it is very small, I would say that it's not as travel friendly as this other guy. This is very small, fits just about anywhere, including your pocket, where you could imagine this guy's like if you're carrying a half-cut baseball. So when it comes to portability, the Qi Mat seems to have an edge on the Nexus 4's charger. However, there is a but. The Nexus 4 comes with a micro USB cable to power the orb, I call it an orb, where this Qi Mat comes with its own power adapter. So that could be a negative, because now if you are traveling, you have to carry an additional power plug that could be unnecessary, where if you already have a micro USB cable laying around, you could, technically speaking, connect this to your laptop and give power to your Nexus 4. Or in my case, what I've done is actually I have this cool little thing that goes over my power plug and has two additional USB plugs that I use to connect my orb, and I like that over the Qi's adapter, because now I have an additional plug that I have to carry around or leave there. So that would be a huge negative on the Mat. However, the biggest negative I saw on the Nexus 4 is the actual way it works. Let me elaborate more on that. The biggest issue I have with the Nexus 4 wireless charger is that it sticks to the phone so well. Because the phone's made of glass, whenever I pick it up, this happens. And that really bothers me. Whereas my other Qi Mat, I just place the phone down, and this is what I meant when I was going to talk to you guys why I prefer this better, is when I'm laying in bed, I can just easily, without even having to look, I could just set my phone down and it begins to charge. Where this guy, you know, I have to kind of find it, and you know, if I decide to pick up the phone late at night, when I pick it up, now sometimes it takes several minutes, or, you know, depending on how long it sits, but the longer it sits there, it'll just, see, it'll just stick to it. So, you know, you don't want to be in bed at night and then create a loud bang, and this is really what I don't like about this charger. Whereas this guy, like I said, I'll just place the phone down and it'll just start charging. As you can see, I can move this around anywhere, and you know, it'll just work. So that was the biggest drawback that I saw on the Nexus 4. So there you have it, the pros and cons of both of these chargers. As I stated before, I actually prefer the Qi mat over the official Nexus charger. Mainly, I'm going to keep this one next to my nightstand, and I like the fact that I can just throw this guy on there and not have to worry how I place the phone, where the Nexus 4 requires a little bit more of a precise placement. So when you set it down, you have to make sure it's set in the middle and that you're going to clear the bottom. You just kind of, you know, when the lights are off, it's a little bit more difficult to maneuver the phone with this guy versus I can just throw this guy on there and it'll just work. So that has to be my biggest concern with the Nexus 4, and the fact that, you know, it sticks to the phone and it creates a loud bang. But don't get me wrong, the Nexus 4 charging orb is really nice. I like it. I'm actually going to use this one more for my office to keep the phone up. Depending on your usage, if you have this on your nightstand and you want to use your phone as a clock, the Nexus 4 charger might be the one for you. So again, this is more of a personal preference, and I just wanted to share my preference. It doesn't mean that this one's better than this one. They both charge equally depending on how you use them. I just wanted to share that experience. So I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you like, please share this with all your friends. I would appreciate if you do that. I want to make sure that people could get an opportunity to watch these videos. Thanks again for watching, guys, and I will see you in my next video. Adios.